Well, as the Dukes of Hazzard, Roscoe Pico Train might say, I love it, I love it, I love it. Wow, just when you thought the world of college athletics couldn't have gotten crazier in recent years, with NIL, with the transfer portal, and schools like Oklahoma and Texas bolting for the SEC sometime this decade, USC and UCLA decided to create some craziness of their own on this Thursday, June 30th of 2022. An historical day for the Pac-12, as arguably its two most popular schools have decided, hey, as early as 2024, we're going to be a part of the Big Ten? Yeah, geography-wise doesn't make much sense, but money-wise it's going to, because I believe that the Big 12 Conference is about to announce its TV money, which is obviously, it was going to be higher anyway. And with the likes of USC and UCLA, part of the second biggest TV market in the country, Los Angeles, yeah, that's just going to sweeten the pot even more. And by the way, if you are Southern Cal head coach Lincoln Riley of the Gridiron, who just a few months ago bolted Norman, Oklahoma to take the Trojans head coaching job, he's not going to admit it. He's not going to say it. But I'm willing to bet you internally he is yelling out after he heard today's news about his Trojans going to the Big Ten soon. Damn, damn, damn. Yeah. For Southern Cal, if they plan on making the college football playoff, which they've never done before, their easiest path is going to be this year and next year. In other words, while they're still Pac-12 members. Because come 2024, and it looks like this is all but in writing, which it will be soon. In 2024, the Trojans and the Bruins are going to have to handle the likes of Ohio State, Michigan State, as well as Penn State, just to name a few. And by the way, those November road games when you're playing in brutally cold conditions in Madison, Wisconsin, Ann Arbor, or East Lansing, Michigan, State College, PA, and other areas, yeah, it's not going to be sunny weather. And then, of course, the traveling miles, oh, yeah, you'll have those frequent flyer bonuses racked up by the second conference game. No doubt this is a big-time game changer, as the SEC, which, made its announcement a while back with the additions of Oklahoma and Texas that, no later than 2025, that'll become a super conference with 16 teams. Well, the Big Ten will now become 16 teams. It looks like as early as 2 years. So you can kind of see the direction that college football is going to. That is the era of super conferences, which, by this time in the middle of the 2020s, you're going to have two super conferences in the Big Ten and the SEC. And we'll see if the Big 12 wants to join them. We'll talk more about the Big 12 later. But as far as the Pac-12, man, what a deflator this has got to be. Well, I don't think that the conference is dead yet. It's in big trouble because now you're going to be down to 10 teams. And remember, since the inception of the college football playoff, which started in 2014, Pac-12's only played in it twice. 2014 with Oregon, and in 2016 with Washington. That's 6 seasons where the Pac-12 has gone college football playoffless. And a lot of those seasons, it hasn't even been close. Now, Utah, they're an up-and-coming football program, but are they a college football playoff contender? No, not yet. They're not yet, and neither is Oregon, by the way. But Oregon is still a nice name, of course, with Phil Knight linked to it. That money's not going to be a problem. But I do think that the nature, the status of this conference, the Pac-12, it's not looking good right now. It really isn't. And tying myself to the Big 12 with the Pac-12 right now, I do think the Big 12 is on the phones, probably even as we speak, talking to schools like Oregon, like Washington, as well as possibly the Arizona schools. And the Big 12, they're going to have 12 teams in, 2 or 3 seasons because you'll have BYU, Cincinnati, Central Florida, and Houston joining the Big 12 party. After the departures of Texas and Oklahoma, that'll bring it to 12 schools. If they want to get to 16, you could add the Arizona schools. Obviously, that'll be big for the Phoenix and Tucson television markets, but what a big buy that would be to get Oregon to join the Big 12 with that Seattle-Washington television market too, and the name of Oregon as well, which will be viable for football. So I think that would add to the quality of the Big 12. We'll see what direction that goes, and that could make it a third conference with 16 teams. You just never know. So for the Big Ten, you're adding a school in USC that's won 7 national titles. I think they've had 7 Heisman Trophy winners, but they haven't won a national title since 2004. And that title, by the way, got vacated. Of course, you can read the internet or watch YouTube videos to find out why that 2004 national title got negated. And of course, in men's basketball, you're adding the powerhouse when it comes to the total number of national championships won, 11 men's national titles. Most of those, of course, were in the 60s and 70s by John Wooden. And you also look, too, you talk about the struggles that the Pac-12s had in terms of winning a national title in football. In basketball, it's almost as bad because they haven't won a national title this century in men's basketball. In fact, you got to go back to 1997 with Arizona and that team that had Miles Simon as well as Mike Bibby and a cast of others. So it's been, 25 seasons since Arizona has, gotten to cut down the nets, since any Pac-12 school has gotten to cut down the nets. Quarter century. So the Big Ten comes out big, but you know what? The Big 12, like I said, could come out big. And, what happens to the other schools right now that could be relocating? Kansas, I know in football, they blow chow, but men's basketball, they're the defending national champions. Academic-wise, they're an accredited university, so the Big Ten could be calling them. No doubt it would be a big gain as far as the hardwood. Colorado, please, that's not even worth talking about. And you look at Notre Dame, we've heard for so long that conferences have wanted Notre Dame to join. Notre Dame's got too big of a gig with NBC and that college football package. They're getting paid, as Richard Gere from Pretty Woman once said, an obscene amount of money, and Notre Dame's getting paid an obscene amount of money by NBC, and that contract doesn't run out until the mid-2030s. Wow. You've had NIL, like I said, you've had the transfer portal. Since 2014, you've had the college football playoff. 10 years ago, if I had told you we were going to have a playoff and college athletes were going to get paid, both men and women, and you were going to have this transfer portal that thousands of athletes would be involved in every year, you might have thought I was crazy. But this is 2022, and it seems like anything that happens, falls into the crazy line, but I guess we're used to crazy by now. See you later.